Hello, good afternoon. Welcome here to our presentation today. Today we are going to do something different. I'm not going to do a lecture or a reading from tarot. I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to present you three maps of the sky time, and I'm going to interpret these three moments in order to you to understand what is happening in the universe of universities, of knowledge, of voyages, which are basically your energy, the energy of sun, rising, moon, Venus, Mars, Mercury, and also the head of the dragon, which is the north node, or Kirian in your energy, Sagittarius, but also has to do with anyone who has a lot of energy of Sagittarius and people who relate with university and with knowledge, superior knowledge, and also with uh, knowing and developing theses on the diverse themes, because it's about what it is, the operative idea of astrology, and basically has to do with this ninth shop of the university. So let's begin our presentation. So the ninth workshop, the university, the foundations of university knowledge as an instrument for creating expansion. Let's see what is happening in the skies at the 11th day of January. At the 11th day of January, we have this planet here in the second house. As you can see, basically all the activity is between the second and the seventh house. The house of the resources, bank, press, which has to do with redaction, editorials, and everything to do with communication, social communication, but also essentially journalism. Also, the fourth house, which has to do with uh, our own feelings, our basic education, not superior education. That has to do with Sagittarius. This has to do with basic education, children education. So this has to do with the kindergarten, okay? So basic knowledge of our own traumas and the way we interact with them, okay? And we have Saturn here, and it is mainly in Aquarius. In the fifth house, which is the stage and is held by Pisces and Neptune, we have here basically the way we propose ourselves to the world, the way we communicate, enact with other people. And this is the energy of Leo, has to do with our own image, our creativity, our difference towards the other, our individuality. In the sixth house, it's the way we relate with others in the working environment. How do we how do we treat our co-workers, but also our superiors, our bosses, and also people who work with us, our inferior ones. So those who are our employees, okay? In the seventh house, it's a bit different. We are not talking about the way we relate with bosses or employees. We're talking about the way we relate with our partners. Okay, so this is the house of parceries, firms, and all kind of enterprises, businesses. And in these cases, also we can speak about our conjugal and our romantic sponsorship. Okay, so it has to do also in that partnerships. Okay, personal partnerships. And we have here Taurus, and we have Uranus, which is the regent of Aquarius, and also we have the regent of Sagittarius, which is, by the way, Jupiter, and they are both in the seventh house in Taurus. In the sixth house, we have the Kirian and the head of the dragon in Aries. And this means that these two areas are very much dominated with ideas of stability and constructing and being proactive in creating something. But at the same time, we see that the values we have here today, because this is the house of the value, the house of resources, the house of Taurus, we have here Sagittarius, which is dominating. It is your sign, your energy is an expansion one. So we can say that the values of the 11th day, the 10th day of January, were dominated by this idea of expansion of knowledge, of higher knowledge. And also the communication was in Sagittarius, which means that it was very intellectual, very elaborated, and at the same time expansive and integrative of everyone. But at the same time, in the third house, which is the communication, the editorial, it has to do with the communication, we have the moon, we have Mars, which has to do with war, and this has to do with feelings, inner feelings, the fourth house, the sun and Pluto, which is the transformative energy of Scorpio, and it is going to change everything. This is the entering, the beginning of the entering of Pluto, which we are going to see in the next map. They were all over this energy of Saturn. Okay, so Saturn was very strong in this moment, and it was because they were the sun in the 10th of January. Remember that Capricorn is an anniversary from the 21st of December till the 21st of January. That is the time of Capricorn each year. And so we are in the 10th day of January, so in the middle of this period, okay? So this is what I have here, and we already have some tension from this communication with this idea of integration that is presented publicly. I would say that today the masses of religion leaders, and we have the war in the Middle East, and this is entangling the values of expansion of economical growth. And we have the fight of the Houthis and everything that is going on in the world, the war we have in Ukraine, which, by the way, is a bit iced. But also we have what is happening in the Middle East, not only on Gaza, on the Palestine, but also on the Suez and on the Red Sea, where we have a fight of the Houthis against the American Navy and against the British Navy. So everything is to do with these fights between the way we see the economical, the practical of our own resources, and the way today religion presents itself in the fifth house as the main stage of the reality. And at the same time, politics are trying to center themselves behind and through communication in order to maintain and sustain peace. So, as today, 22 of January, something has changed a lot. As we can see, we have already entered in Aquarius, okay? And this is a major change. Pluto and the Sun at the same time. And Pluto is the most important thing, because with entering of Pluto in Aquarius means that the era of Aquarius has begun. And also the communication. The moon is in Gemini in today's date, 22 of January, and it is opposed to these values of Sagittarius. This idea of expansion is not being connected as the way of people feeling in relation to each other, which is the 8th house. So 2nd house and 8th house, which is the known axis of life, because Taurus, and this is the house of Taurus, and this is the house of Scorpio, is known as the axis of life. And so the axis of life has to do with this confrontation between what I own and what others own of me. And so this confrontation has to do with how people feel and how our values are. This idea of expansion that Uranus is trying to transform in Taurus in the 7th house, and also the way we see in working conditions, in work relationship, which has to do with Jupiter in Taurus in the 6th house, that is, it has to change mainly, because we must accept differences, we must be inclusive, and we must refocus our journey not towards making more money, but understanding better other people. And that is a confrontation, a clear confrontation. Also, this idea, this mystical idea that religion can lead us, and it has to do with these Pisces on the 4th house, Saturn, but also the way in the interior world, but also in the public one, the way we manifest in the world, in the stage. they are being held by still the age of Pisces. By the way, we are changing from the age of Pisces to the age of Aquarius. And so this is basically this drama of changing the reality and understanding that we are not all together in love, in some kind of inconscience urge or need to be together, but we are feeling different necessities that are fighting with our own values, and that people are not all in the same spot. Okay, they are not all in the same kind of entanglements. There are some that are suffering a lot and others that are suffering less, and that is very clear now at this present day. In the 2nd of February, so 10 to 15 days from today, we'll have a very different image of reality, okay? Because Venus is already in Capricorn. It has changed from Sagittarius, is still in the 2nd house, but we have here a bunch of planets, mainly two, because Pluto is in Aquarius as the Sun, but we have here Mars and we have here Mercury, which is communication and war, that are being dominated by or being over this dominion of Capricorn. And this is what is making some kind of opposition to these two planets in Taurus, 7th and 6th house, which are Uranus and the regent of Sagittarius, which is Jupiter, and they are being in confrontation with the moon in Scorpio. This moon in Scorpio in the 12th house means that some kind of collective need and urge to understand and address our own problems and the problems of relationships, of relations between people, is going to be bring to the table, is going to be brought to the table, and is going to bring us a new idea of what is to negotiate and get and arrange some kind of deal that will make us surpass these times, these very unstable times. Okay, so this is basically what I have to say to you. I see you next time. So see you in February. Bye.